Hello and welcome to the Camo Grind, a series where I analyze every weapon in Advanced Warfare to help you complete every camo challenge by giving specific strategies, loadouts, and more, including ranking every weapon variant in order of usefulness based on several factors to give you an idea of what you should use and what you should redeem. I don't, however, just make this stuff up. My advice and opinions are based on thorough testing, in-game coded stats, and of course my own experiences in using these weapons and weapon variants, of which I own many, to complete every Marksman challenge and earn every royalty camo. And that is the intro you may hear many times if you follow this series as it progresses. And if that's the case, if you're watching every video as they come out, don't worry, I'll have an annotation to skip that intro in every video. It's mainly there because I expect there may be people who find these videos in searches and are not subscribed and are not following the series, who just want a tip or two to help them with a challenge. And that's cool. I just like to explain what everything's all about. I guess that's just partly my perfectionism, because if I don't explain everything, I get tons of questions and confusion. So that's that. Today's episode is on the Bal-27, as it made sense for a starting point. It's the first assault rifle unlocked, and it's more or less the face of the series. We've all probably heard of Bal of Duty from when this game launched. It quickly became many people's favorite and was labeled as OP. However, just because the first episode is the Bal, that doesn't mean I'm going to progress through each class in a boring way. The next episode isn't going to be the AK-12 and then the ARX-160. I considered doing it like that in order, but I figured the series is to help guides with camos and give my variant recommendations in order of how good they are and all that stuff. So the order in which I make these videos I will leave mostly up to you. I'm already thinking I'll cover some of the launchers after this. The MAAWS and the MAHEM are of course highly requested because they are quite strange, and a couple of the challenges like the Paladins and the UAVs are quite time consuming, so that's probably where I'm going to go next. But the first episode I knew was going to be filled with a lot of this exposition and explaining stuff. I barely even talked about the Bal yet, and we're a couple minutes in, so I wanted to pick something pretty basic like the Bal. This gameplay, by the way, is from quite a while ago. It was either my first or second ranked play game ever in the first season of Advanced Warfare ranked play, and I don't play a lot of ranked play, but it was a ton of fun because I was getting to use the Bal-27 again, a weapon that I hadn't used in months because I was busy completing other camo challenges with the not so great underpowered stuff. So I did pretty well in that S&D game, and it's a lot of fun to pick up the Bal and be super competitive after challenging yourself to use some other weapons. But enough talking though, let's get into the first half of the video, which is my variant ranking system. Now, of course, I did base these on pretty factual things like the coded stats, the times to kill at all ranges, and of course my own testing and playtime experience. But at the end of the day, these are opinions. I might decide I don't like the trade-off of losing accuracy for a red dot sight or whatever, while maybe you do think it's worthwhile. So I think this is a pretty good guide. I use it myself, but don't take this as fact, like, oh, well, I like using it, but I guess I have to sell my ARX-160 damnation because Sour said so. Well, no, not necessarily. Use it as what it is, a guide, and you can decide for yourself what you like and don't like. For a perfect example of this, as you can see, I did indeed mark the Obsidian Steed as the #1 variant for this weapon, even though some people love to plead that no, Sour, the Bal-27 Carbon is the best variant. It also has a damage buff, but very little negative, and it's only enlisted. But you see, I disagree. I will concede that the Carbon is a very good variant, but if you read up on your stats, the Obsidian Steed is, in my eyes, all you will need to exceed, to make your enemies bleed and to fill the kill feed with your name, guaranteed. I will now proceed to show you some things that will hopefully cause you to agree. I gotta stop. Alright, let's ditch the Dr. Seuss and get on with the gun, shall we? I do like the Obsidian Steed, as most people do, because it has the most impressive damage buff of all Bal-27s, bringing the mid-range damage from 33 up to 34, making it a 3-shot kill there, and the minimum damage from 24 to 25, making it never less than a 4-shot kill, unless you're shooting through an object. The Carbon, on the other hand, only brings up the minimum damage from 24 to 25, and does not affect the mid-range damage, which still makes it a very effective variant, and that's why it's number 3 over here. But you're going to be getting much fewer 3-shot kills and a lot of 4-shot kills with the Carbon. Better than 5-shot kills for sure, but not quite as good as the Steed in my opinion. The Obsidian Steed is, in my eyes, the perfect assault rifle version of the Bal-27. It increases your ADS speed by 10%, reduces the fire rate, which kinda sucks, but that makes it a bit easier to handle, and ups the damage at medium and long range. The Inferno, which I made number 2, I see as the counterpart to the Obsidian Steed. If you like to use the Bal-27 as an SMG running around really quickly, hip firing occasionally, then the Inferno may be the Bal for you, even over the Obsidian Steed. I believe there was a joke when this game came out that you could ask, well, what's the best assault rifle in the game? Oh, well, the Bal-27. What's the best SMG in the game? the Bal-27 because it was just so effective at every range and could beat out SMGs at point blank. That close range damage has been nerfed now, but the Inferno still makes the Bal-27 a very effective SMG in air quotes. The only nerf it has is a 30% slower ADS time, which is fairly significant, but you can counter that with a quick draw grip if you choose, but you don't really have to because it increases your fire rate and gives you 20% better hipfire spread. Those are two things that don't really help a traditional assault rifle all that much, but it makes it kind of SMG-like. So both the elite variants of the Bal-27 are very good in their own ways, and it's really up to you which one you prefer, assault rifle or SMG. We already talked about the carbon. That is number 3 because of that long-range damage buff and only a 10% view kick increase, which is easily manageable with or without a grip. So that's the top 3 there. Then I have the tactical, the .308, and the assaulter as decent variants to use if you have them. The trade-offs seem worthwhile to me. Then there's the AE Atlas Edition, which of course is just cosmetic for buying a certain version of the game. Then we come to the Bal-27 base weapon. Beyond this point, of course, we find variants that I wouldn't really bother using at all. I'd prefer the base variant at this point. The Virtue, Marksman, 223, and SPR. I do not want, just seems like more negative than positive, and I would personally recommend either selling or ignoring them. So that's my opinion on the variants of the Bal-27. Hopefully that helps you with what you want to use. Now we move to the Camo Challenges themselves. The hardest challenge for people is usually the long shots, but you just have to adapt your playstyle to get more of those. Throw on an ACOG and a grip and camp it out. It doesn't always come naturally depending on how you play, but it isn't difficult if you're focusing on getting them. I do have a video on long shots. It's a pretty dated video now, but it's still accurate. I'll link that in the description. The key is just using the right maps and being in the right places. Stuff like Instinct and Detroit and some of the DLC maps like Sideshow are excellent, and if the weapon has some bad recoil and it's tough to control at long range, you could try hardcore so that you can easily 1 or 2 shot people even at super long range. So that's that, but other than the long shots, well, headshots, strafe middles, bloodthirsties, after dodging, you'll probably get all of these naturally just by playing. And no perks, no attachments, you just have to do them, there's no mystery there. My classes would probably be something like this, but this isn't something you need to copy, just use what you like to use. It's hard to go wrong with the Bal, unless your class looks like this, in which case, just copy mine. So nothing much more to say about these challenges. You might be thinking, well, for a series called the Camo Grind, you didn't have much to say about the Camo Challenges, but that's just the nature of certain weapons. For something like the XMG or the MK14 or the NE45, I'll have little strategies that I've adapted over time when using the weapons, and I'll have stuff to say that should help you go about the challenges more easily by playing a mode or using some perks or using a style that you might not have thought of. But for something as simple and powerful as the Bal, there's not much I can say. I won't waste your time by saying you should play Momentum or Hardcore or something, because there is no trick. You just play the game like you normally would, and you'll be good. That's the Bal for you. And that's why for this series, I wanted to cover more than just Camo Challenges, so I added in that whole variant ranking thing. It took a while to put that together, so I hope some people find it helpful, and over time it'll get filled out with all of the weapon variants for all the weapons. For episodes like this for the Bal, I'll have things to say about all the weapon variants that are hopefully helpful, even though the challenges are simple. But for example, an episode like the MAAWS or the MAHEM, which is where I'm probably going next, there's basically nothing to say about the variants because they're purely cosmetic. I'll just show some pictures and move on. But the Camo Challenges for those launchers are going to be very involved because there are absolutely cool methods to complete the challenges, like drones and UAVs and paladins to an extent that many people think are simply impossible. I'll have a lot to talk about there. But that about wraps up this episode for the Bal-27. Quite a lot of introduction thrown in there, as it is the first episode. But I think as we go, this process will become more streamlined and I'll have less to explain each time. Next episode, like I've said, probably going to be those 2 launchers. I've gotten some requests for the crossbow as well. But if you have a specific weapon or 2 you'd like to see covered, either for the camo advice or for that variant ranking thing, don't hesitate to suggest it and I'll add it to the list. If I see multiple people requesting one thing, the priority on that weapon will just get bumped up, and that's how we will choose what weapon will be next. So I hope you are more knowledgeable about the Bal-27 now than you were 10 minutes ago, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.